It's amazing how most people are quite comfortable with making the statement, I can't stand that nigga. They're quite comfortable with turning people into enemies. But what they do not understand is that by thinking in that manner, you are literally obstructing your success in life. Let's talk about it. Now, first things first, when people make that statement, they're actually expressing themselves in the nature of anger. But people, unfortunately, have become quite comfortable with saying things like that, turning people into enemies. And unbeknownst to them, they are actually obstructing their success when they do that. Now, you ask yourself, why would a person actually do that? You probably heard many people in your life, or you may have made that statement. But I know people who are quite comfortable with making this statement. And the only thing I can think of is that they don't understand how the conscious mind and the unconscious or the subconscious mind works. Now, first off, what is the conscious mind? The conscious mind is what the ancient Egyptians called the king. So your conscious mind is the king. It's that part of you that's responsible for thinking. So for instance, if you make the statement, I am going to be a millionaire, that's an expression of the conscious mind. The purpose of the conscious mind is to protect the subconscious mind, to make sure that the thoughts accepted are in a harmony with universal truth. And so your conscious mind is also what we call the sower of the seed in the subconscious mind. Now, when you make the statement, hey, I'm going to be a millionaire, even that's a conscious mind expression that really has not a lot to do with success. Most people think by just declaring that they're going to be a millionaire, that they're going to be successful, and that's just not how it works. You can affirm all day till the cows come home what you're going to be, but it's actually your subconscious mind, that power seat, that's responsible for bringing things into manifestation. But the ultimate purpose of the conscious mind is to ensure that the thoughts that are accepted are in alignment to universal truth, which will empower the subconscious mind to do what it does out there in the world. Now, the subconscious mind is something completely different. The subconscious mind is a part of that energy matrix within your person, within your spiritual paradigm, that is responsible for, interacting with the world, your environment, and things of that nature. As a matter of fact, the chakra centers, which a lot of people kind of know about, is a part of the subconscious mind. That ebb and flow of the psychic energies and forces that go out into the world, that are responsible for attracting things to you, that are responsible for protecting your interests. All those different things function at the power of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind never sleeps. The conscious mind obviously has to go to sleep, but the subconscious mind, if it's programmed correctly, will continue to make things happen for you even when you're asleep. It is attracting people to you that can support your success. It is protecting people from your ventures to help you get your success. It's responsible for putting you in the position at the right moment to meet that person to make your life successful. It is responsible for all the things that are taking place in your life that magically make your life a success. We use the term 90-10 rule, and basically what that means is that 90% of your success is of the result of the subconscious, all right? And only 10% of yourself is the conscious part. As a matter of fact, if we use a pyramid, we'll say that your conscious mind is basically the tip of the pyramid, and everything underneath from that point on is the subconscious mind. It has a lot to do with your success. This is why successful people, the Oprah Winfrey's, the Michael Jordans, right? They can't tell you exactly how they became successful because they don't know. 90% of their success is an unconscious mechanism of the subconscious. It goes beyond our conscious mind. It goes beyond our thinking process. Most people don't know. Now, you may have somebody like Oprah who may come and tell you, do this every day, do this every day. But nobody's going to ever achieve her level of success because 90% of that success she doesn't know. Michael Jordan will tell you to go into the gym and work hard and get your shots up and do all those different things, but you'll never become the success of Michael Jordan because that's 90%. That's his subconscious working on his behalf. That goes beyond our conscious understanding. It's working for you even when you sleep. Your conscious mind is going out into the world and aligning your next day to ensure that you meet the right people for your success, to ensure that you will do the things necessary to ensure that your life is going to be successful. Now, here's the problem. The conscious mind plants the seeds within the subconscious mind. When the conscious mind accepts negative ideas, like, for instance, I can't stand that nigga, and therefore you turning people into enemies, the idea I can't stand that nigga is rooted in a specific belief. In order for you to accept that notion, you must also believe that people outside of you have the ability to obstruct your success, that people can actually obstruct your success. So you have to think that based on your belief and, philosophical beliefs or whatever, that people outside of you have the ability to obstruct your success. And I'm telling you, that's a fundamental lie. That's incorrect. That goes against the universal laws. The Bantu have a saying that's one of my most favorite sayings. The Bantu say that creation given by the Creator cannot be taken away by another created thing. That is a phenomenal thing. It's saying that creation given by the Creator cannot be taken away by another created thing. There's no created thing outside of you that's powerful enough to obstruct you. Now, mind you, in the Maasai, we don't say the word creation. We didn't use that. We say the universe is a manifestation, but you get the point, right? If you are an expression of the one reality, then everybody around you are simply what? Diverse versions of the same thing. Therefore, that implies that it's impossible for an expression of the one thing to obstruct itself. That is impossible. The only entity powerful enough to obstruct you is you. You are the only entity that has the capability to obstruct your success. No thing outside of you has that capability. In the Maasai, we say that, we're all expressions of the source consciousness. As a matter of fact, you are the source consciousness manifesting through the limitations of the mind itself. Everybody in the world, I don't care if they're, whatever you define them as, criminals, whatever, successful people, nice people, good people, bad people, all these things. All people are expressions of the one reality. We're all expressions of Nebuchadnezzar. We are Nebuchadnezzar functioning through the limitations of the mind itself. And therefore, it is impossible for something outside of us to obstruct us. The only entity that has the capability, the power to obstruct us is ourselves. And one of the major ways we obstruct ourselves is through the negative affirmations of the mind, the acceptance of these incorrect affirmations that put us into disharmony with the universal truth of Ma'ah. When you make statements like, I can't stand that nigga, and you're okay with turning people into enemies, you program your subconscious into habitual anger. So the very thing that is responsible for going out there and making connections with people and attracting people to you is now searching for opportunities to express his anger. So now you find yourself being angry all the time, and you find yourself saying that about a lot of people simply because you have programmed this within, you have sown that seed within the subconscious. And now the subconscious is expressing itself as anger. The subconscious now is acting in disalignment with the universe. A famous man once said that the quickest way to become a millionaire is to help 1 million people. How are you going to help 1 million people if you're consistently affirming the reality that you have enemies, the reality that something can obstruct you, and you're constantly sowing the seed of anger within your spirit that is putting you at odds with the very people that can help you achieve your success? Part of the problem here is that we accept the notion that there's something outside of us that's going to bless us, that's going to serve as that reality. But the reality is consciousness is the only thing that could be a blessing and be blessed. And so for all expressions of the one consciousness, then the potential to be blessed is coming from other versions of ourselves. So therefore, when you turn people into enemies, you are cutting off a potential opportunity to be blessed. And you are lowering and minimizing your potential to experience the necessary blessings you need to experience to bring your life into a specific version of success. If you looked at everybody as a potential to be a blessing to you, you would never accept the notion that there's enemies, that you have enemies. It is impossible for you to have enemies. It's impossible for somebody to obstruct your success. That's impossible. But if you affirm this reality and it becomes a habitual place in the subconscious, then something that is completely ignorant as people being against you or people being your enemy becomes a specific reality, because the subconscious finds people in your life that continue to push that button. That very thing that you use to define people as your enemy, that you use to get upset with people, you'll find yourself continuously attracting these things simply because you have programmed this in the subconscious. I don't have anybody in my life that I don't like. I don't have any enemies. Now, yes, there are people out there that, quote unquote, don't like me. There are people out there that have an issue with the way I talk. There are people out there that have a lot of things, but I never accept the notion that I have enemies. I never accept the notion that somebody outside of me can obstruct me, which allows me to the greatest potential to be blessed and to experience my expression of success. Sowing those good seeds within the spirit allows now your subconscious to go out there and do what it does. Make you money, attract situations to you to increase your success. You know, the Ma'aseh teaches us that no thing, situation, nor being can obstruct you. We're all expressions of the one reality. All things serve to further. So the question is, should we turn people into enemies? Should we make the statement, I can't stand that nigga? The answer to that question is absolutely not. You should never dislike anybody. You should never accept the notion that something outside of you can obstruct you, because these go against universal truth. Just think about it for a second. Saying you can't stand that nigga, does that help you with your success? Does that help you deal with this particular person? Does that help you, in any way? Let's say, for the sake of argument, you had to get into it with this person to fight this person. Does coming to that reality allow you to compete higher when you're fighting this person? The answer to that is no. And as a matter of fact, believe it or not, that affirmation is so against universal truth that in actuality, by placing yourself in that mental affirmation, you have just diminished your ability to succeed in the case of when people are actually trying to obstruct you. The only way you can be defeated is that I have to get you to first lose the mental competition. Once you lose the mental competition, then you can be defeated. By making the statements, I can't stand that nigga, and creating enemies, you are putting yourself in a position by which you just lost the competition of life. And therefore, whatever failure looks like in your life, you should and will receive that. In the Bible, Jesus said, if thine eye be single, thy body be filled with light. The single eye is the single consciousness that manifests through all diverse things. There is only one consciousness manifesting through all things. We call that consciousness Nebuchadnezzar, functioning through the limitations of the mind itself. All things, no matter how they relate to you, no matter how passionate you may feel about them, no matter how angry you may feel about them, these are all expressions of the one reality. Therefore, at any given moment, the very person that you define as an enemy can turn around and be a blessing to you. And I choose to see all things as a blessing, which keeps me at my maximum potential to be blessed at any time to manifest my success in the world. If thine eye be single, if you see all people as an expression of the one thing, thy body be filled with light. Stop destroying your own success through the negative affirmations. You should never, never, never define somebody as your enemy. Dislike anybody in your life because you are putting yourself at odds with the universe and therefore diminishing your ability to be blessed and manifest success. Peace and blessings. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. Also, you can subscribe to my podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all those things at Rama Hetep. Stop destroying your own success. Stop calling people your enemies. Stop making your conscious mind incorrectly program your subconscious mind and putting you at odds with your own personal success. Peace.